Gaming disorder. The World Health Board or organization, the people who kind of diagnose things, recently added gaming as a disorder. Not gaming in general, but it essentially is saying that there can be disorders associated with gaming. So I thought, man, I'm gonna make a video about this because I have a unique perspective on video games. I was born in 1985, and I've been gaming pretty much on the regular since I was around 4 or 5 years old. So I've watched gaming kind of grow through the years and explode from just being what was considered a child's hobby to just this massive, multi layered thing that's ingrained in society on a whole. I mean, mostly, if somebody was to tell me out of the 6 billion people on the planet, around 3 billion of them play games, video games, I would believe it. And that number might be a little low. I mean, you, on your phone, the consoles, PC, there are all kinds of forms of video games that we're exposed to every day. And as a parent now, I'm 33 now with two young children, and every once in a while you would hear these debates around gaming, especially when it comes to kids, as far as the content that's in games. And I've always been adverse to those things. Um, in the past, I would always believe that games were an art form, and I believe that now more than ever. So does that mean that I'm saying to discount the gaming disorder thing? No, not necessarily. Gaming has advanced so far now that it's important now as a parent for you to be responsible with your child's gaming. And I'm going to try to help you out with that. Okay. So, one of the main things that you want to look at when it comes to your child and gaming is the content of what they're playing. And I do not believe that this is on the gaming companies to deal with. I sincerely don't believe that. I wouldn't think that a rapper has to make music with certain lyrical content because my child might listen to it. No, it's my responsibility as the parent to make sure my child isn't listening to things that I deem inappropriate. You could take that same logic to your child and video games. And I mean, even though I don't think it's the gaming companies or the stores' responsibility, the gaming companies and the stores and the industry in general has took a lot of steps to help make that easy for you. I think the top game store in the country is GameStop. And as far as I know, if you're a child trying to buy a M-rated game, they won't even do it unless the parent's there. And if the parent is there, they'll ask the parent, to make sure, like, oh, hey, are you okay with your child playing this M-rated game? And that's pretty much to be as far as they should have to go as a store. But also on the games, on their boxes, they have rating systems. If you see M and your child's 8 years old, you probably shouldn't be buying your child a game. Now, yes, there are ways around that. Maybe they can borrow a game from a friend or, just some kind of way. But also just step in. Go look at them as they're playing the game. Like, if you see stuff that you don't think they should be messing with, take the game away. Have them turn it off. This is real important because in the games, especially the ones I play, which is a wide variety. There's racing, yeah, there's basketball, there's sports and this and that. There's also games that deal with very mature subject matter. There's some games that are raunchy just to be raunchy. I mean, if your child just happened to play The Witcher 3 simply because it's an amazing game, that game is like a video game, Game of Thrones, as in you're gonna be seeing full on sex on there, and that's not something you want your child to necessarily be seeing, or you might not care, but it's just to say that the possible content in these games are could range very widely, and the ratings are there for a reason. So heed them. If you know you don't want your child seeing certain things, don't buy them these types of games. And if they're playing a game, just go check in on them here and there. See what they're doing. Ask them, can you watch? Ask them what the game's about. And if you see that it's something that you definitely don't want them to be messing with, don't let them. Um, Another thing that you want to look at as a parent of somebody who plays video games is the online play aspect. Now, this is one of the most popular things to do with video games, especially on the consoles. Um, Most likely the most popular gaming thing out there right now it might be Fortnite, but for a while it was Call of Duty, which is called a first person shooter. People hop on there and they go straight to online multiplayer where they could play with other people around the world. And that's cool. But like I say, I'm 33 now, and many years ago, hopping online on a popular first person shooter, especially as a black guy, which I am, I eventually completely got away from it. And the main reason was because of your kids. I mean, they get on there and they say some of the most racist, nasty stuff you're going to hear in a relatively public setting. And it's always the same. It isn't like just the fact that you're going to hear racist stuff. You hear it from people who sound like they're about 11 years old. And everybody's wondering, like, why do you even have this game? Why are you online playing a game, running around shooting people? And I mean raging. Seriously, raging, cursing, being troll like, just picking on people. It's really sad to see, and it's so commonplace now in games that I don't even mess with first person shooters as in terms of multiplayer online anymore. It's really that toxic. And another popular game, Grand Theft Auto 5, has this big online world that I hear is kind of the same way, full of these toxic kids who spend up their parents' money and say racist things to different types of people. And look, if you're a parent of a young child, I would almost lean for you to lean away from multiplayer online gaming. Your child might be special and might not participate in it, but he's gonna be exposed to it just by having the headphones on. And I mean, playing games about shooting each other as much as people who play on a regular do probably isn't the best idea anyway. But like I say, graphics are a lot more realistic. The things that they show in these games, it's very realistic, very imitatable. Grand Theft Auto 5, almost everything you could do in that game, you can do in real life. And you might not think, you could look at it as a sign of the times, but when you realize how there's a lack of sensitivity to things like death and people robbing and all these kind of super negative things that would make you pause in the past, you gotta realize, man, out of nowhere, you might not be as sensitive to it as you thought. So, one, watching out for the content, looking at the ratings. Two, leaning away from that online multiplayer, especially in terms of shooters. That goes hand in hand in checking the content. Um, Another thing is the sheer amount of time that your child plays. And I mean, like I say, I've been gaming well over 20 years, and you never want to do any one thing for too many hours straight. You wouldn't want to. You could work. Too much work could be bad for you. Too much eating can be bad for you. Too much exercising could be bad for you. Too much of anything could be bad for you. If you see that your child has been playing for an excessive amount of time, make them take a break. There's nothing wrong with making your child take a break. Even if you're as old as me, if you've been going on a binge for hours and hours, take a break. There's nothing wrong with taking a break and unplugging. They have people who've literally died trying to do streams and 24-hour things and this, that, and the other. And while that's not common, I don't want you to think that it's common. It's still your responsibility as a parent to check in on your kids and make sure that, maybe they get some fresh air, that you go talk to them, eat, have them do something else, spend time with them your own self. I mean, these are very important things. Like I say, games are not the enemy in terms of just, hey, you need to dictate to game developers what goes in their games and determine what could be sold where and this and that. No, that's on you as a parent. Gaming, I've been gaming all my life essentially, and I feel that I've turned out fine. And the vast majority of gamers, I think, are fine. But I have seen the negative side of gaming, and I feel bad for the people who have lost their lives, being caught up in it. So that's why you as a parent, you have to keep an eye on it. Now, there's another aspect I wanted to talk to you about, and this is something that game companies do kind of have some say so in, and that's the free to play and the DLC models. In essence, some games could be called pay to win, where you can pay real world money to make yourself better faster than someone who just plays the game without paying real world money. And free to play is where you could download a game for free and you could just pay for stuff as you see fit. And you think that's fine, and it gets a lot of people on the hook. But there's a lot of people who lose serious money to this. You need to watch this if you're a parent, and you can mess around and spend hundreds of dollars. And I know that sounds crazy, but you can mess around and spend hundreds of dollars. You want to be sure you're somewhat aware of what your child's playing and what you're spending your money on. I know you want to make your kid happy. That's fine. And this could be a message to adult gamers as well. But I made this video mainly for the parents. Be mindful. Games games are games, but there are far more stuff to it now than ever before. They have sporting leagues with these things. And they have TV shows, reality shows. So much is with gaming now, and you can't just fit it into this neat little box. Respect it. It is like a knife or a gun. You can use it as a tool for enjoyment, or you can mess around and hurt yourself with it. As a parent, be responsible. Be mindful of what your child's playing. Check their attitude. If you got to take the thing away from them, take it away from them. Or make them earn their time with it. Be mindful of the amount of time. Be mindful of the content that they're playing. If you allow them to play online, walk in on them. Kind of listen to what they're saying to the other people. If they're saying stuff they don't have no business, get them out of there. Let games be fun. And as they grow, you can allow them to play more mature rated games. And, they can enjoy the stories. I've seen some amazing stories from M-rated games. Some of them, all games really are works of art. And a lot of those M-rated games are M-rated for a reason. That's the story they wanted to tell. You can't come down on the game developers. It will always be your responsibility. So don't let gaming disorder, the diagnosis, scare you away from games in general, but do your part. Until next time, peace.